is rubbing buttholes together a thing? And of course, like Rule 34.
I mean, I'm sure it's a thing, but...
Well, actually, it is a thing.
Okay.
Ta-da.
Come on.
They, one of the terms that they use for it is trubbing. I could be pronouncing that completely wrong.
How do you spell it?
Trubbing.
Trubbing?
Sure, trubbing.
I'm just going with an alternate pronunciation just to throw you off.
Why not? And that says the act of rubbing one's anus with another person's anus. So, there we go.
Really?
Yeah,
the act of rubbing with something. Oh, that's rubbing.
Yeah.
T-rubbing. Trubbing. Because it's rubbing. Like rubbing, but with a T.
Oh.
Trubbing. I'm just throwing it out there.
No. It's kind of like those Benjamin.
Yeah, because like when I looked it up first, it's like, rub together kind of a thing, anyway, that's, rubbing. Look at that.
Well,
anyway.
It also, if you really wanted to go into it.
What is the fucking, how did
we get there? Or how do you do that?
I guess.
Let me see.
I mean,
hold on. A related term is butt scissoring. Because you know how there's like scissoring for scissors. We're scissors.
But we've gone through this, about, most chicks looking at you like if you scissor, what? People don't do that, let alone butt scissor.
Well, apparently it is. It's a two man. It says where two men intertwine their legs together, rub their buttholes together.
Oh, you know what? I just thought of space docking.
So space docking.
You're pooping into one, so you're trubbing. You're trubbing. You got to go from trub to space dock. It's a combo move. The first step in this, you got to get butthole to butthole. Like if you're gonna,
what if there's like a funnel in the ass though?
Is there? I always thought it was butthole to butthole, just direct injection.
Well, I don't know then.
Direct injection from one butthole to the other butthole.
Well, you got to stretch it out somehow. It's got to open up because you got to get the shit inside. This isn't like a human centipede kind of thing. It's
you make
not
sure
like sewn asshole to asshole.
Make sure that you're doing the opioids ahead of time so you can have a very, very firm poo. Very firm poo equals good penetration. And maybe pinch it off as you're wait for me here. Pinch it off as you're pushing out the first little bit of it as to make it into a tapered point. You know what I mean? And then as you're trubbed, you're space docked. First thing here is whatever the...
So you just shoot the shit spear into the asshole.
That's the way I always thought it worked. Am I wrong here? I always thought if you were space docking, you're space docking.
If you know about space docking.
I don't know that does anybody really know about space docking?
Well, I'm sure if they've done it, they would know a thing or two.
Okay. But it's funneling it in. Is that space docking? I don't know.
I don't. Oh, God, you just made my butt twinge. That's just, ew. That's not good.
It's not good?
No, none of that sounds good to me. I mean, whatever. If it's your thing, that's your thing.
Oh, wait a minute.
What'd you find out?
Well, because I totally have it backwards here.
Backwards?
Yeah, I have it wrong. Space docking.
Is that the foreskin one?
Yes, that's the foreskin one. There's something about space docking. The act of directing into one's vagina like a spaceship attempting to dock a what? Hang on. Accurate control of near perfect alignment of two orifices. Wait a minute. I'm getting conflicting information here.
Well, then while you're reading that,
pooping into a girl's vagina. See, it is pooping into a girl's vagina. It's supposed to be, but if you're man on man, obviously you're substituting a vag for a
back
butthole.
pussy.
Yeah, a little bussy action.
Pussy
for a bussy, which is really very similar,
but quite tight.
Right.
Mostly.
At the beginning of the Renaissance, it began in Italy. What? Art, history. Hang on.
People didn't come here to learn history, but damn it, they want to know.
You know what, though? We always forget that people back a long time ago didn't have a lot to do sometimes at night, so they got
creative.
Really. I mean, if you think people are fucked up now, I can only imagine. Imagine being like a somebody in the Italian Renaissance, you're hanging out in Venice and you're one of the fucking Medicis here. You know what I mean? You are rolling in literal fat stacks. You're doing the fucking duck swim through the gold coins. You know what I mean? That's right. So you're doing that every day. Of course you're doing space docking. You know, they didn't call it space docking back then because, you know, they didn't know what space was. But
you see that goose we're having for dinner?
Right.
Do you know what I did with it?
Right.
Ah.
Along with 100 other things that they're doing. They got seriously creative.
I want you to shove these hot coals up my bum.
And mostly, I would imagine, like the aristocratic people, you know, back in those times were probably doing some really kinky shit.
Well, that's kind of how things are now.
At least that's the way I want to imagine it. You know what I mean?
Like the ones that are so rich that they're bored, so they just they find some way to...
They have slaves and shit, so they can make people do any little weird thing they think of.
Just for shits and giggles.
Right. They could literally impale people. They could have.
God, Vlad.
They probably did. Don't look at me. I'm not saying that I would have been doing it. I mean, I was obviously a peasant standing outside with a fucking pitchfork.
Yeah, but God, you know what the fucking must have like stunk like hell though? Like all gross kind of weird stuff, like all sexual stuff, but they're all
unwashed.
They're all just like
powdering,
sweaty and hairy and icky and just slime. And just imagine the cheese gush on the...
Well, when you grow up with a palate for it, I'm sure it's just like everything else. You grew up for a palate for funky schmeg. So funky schmeg just becomes a part of everyday life for you. You're an aristocrat.
I like tacos and burritos.